So I don't know if you've ever heard of the Hawthorne Effect, but it is based on this study or experiment that this company did with their employees back in the 1920s, where they adjusted things like lighting or their physical environment in terms of how things were spaced within the office to see if it impacted productivity. And what they found is that it wasn't so much about the lighting or the way things were arranged, but more so about the fact that they were being watched, they were being observed, and that improved their productivity. And so I bring this up because it also points to this idea that when we measure things, that those things improve. So, for example, if we want to improve our eating habits and we keep a diary of what we're eating, well, then it's going to be right there in front of us to notice, like, oh, this is the reality of what my diet is. And so we don't say, like, oh, well, I haven't had ice cream in 3 days, so I can have ice cream tonight. But in reality, maybe you didn't have ice cream last night, but you had a piece of cake or you had a cookie the night before. And so you're still having sweets in some form every single night. I'm not saying that that's good or bad. Just saying that, like, bringing that diary, that food diary into the equation allows you to observe your own habits. Same thing with time. Lots of times, I have clients who are like, I just don't have time for anything. And so I'll actually walk them through a time audit. And I'll say, for the next week, I want you to write down and keep a diary of every little thing you do throughout your day. And then we go through and categorize those things as, like, this was for work, this was for family, this was for personal time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This was sleeping, this was commuting, traveling, those kinds of things. And then we can really get a true snapshot of how really are you using your time right now, and be able to identify and almost kind of like poke holes in the beliefs that they have about their time, or beliefs that you have about your diet, or your eating habits, things like that. And so it becomes really, really critical. And this is a lot of the reason why you hear a lot of people talking about, write down your goals. It's so important to write down your goals and how you're going to achieve them. And this is exactly why, is because when we measure something, we know that it improves. When we observe something, we know that it improves. When we put it on paper, it improves. And the reason why is because there's no way that you can ignore it anymore. The facts are right there in front of you, plain and simple. So my question for you this week is, what do you want to measure for yourself so that you can improve that? You want to keep a food diary maybe? Or maybe you want to do a time audit for yourself. Maybe you just want to notice the types of activities that you're doing with your children. How are you spending your time with your children? What is it that you want to track? What is it that you want to measure for yourself with the goal of figuring out and finding ways to improve upon it? I hope that's helpful. Got your wheels turning, especially in this space when we're at home right now, and give you something to reflect on and to grow within. You all have an amazing weekend. Mwah.